have you ever found yourself doing a ton of work on some core issue and feeling like you've nailed it, only for it to come back again? And have you found yourself saying, I thought I dealt with this shit? Then you wonder if maybe you missed something. You didn't quite get to the core of it. Maybe you keep sabotaging yourself for some inexplicable reason. Or maybe, perhaps, you're fundamentally broken. So you speak with your well-meaning spiritual and personal development friends, only to have them collude in that self-blame, pointing with that judgment dressed as kind wisdom to your failure and inadequacy of your process work. Oh my effing God, this is something that is guaranteed to get me on my rant box. And it came up in a recent group call. Twice. So I figured it's got to be in the ethers for a lot of you right now. So in today's episode, I thought I'd share those conversations from the call and hope with all my heart that my perspective on this topic offers an alternative and, in my opinion, more useful and human approach to this situation. Plus, as part of these conversations, you'll get a demo of NPA in action, using one of my favourite NPA approaches to help you let in whatever characteristics you see in others and feel you lack. Now, how cool is that in the middle of this heat wave here in the UK? So stay tuned and let's dive in. Welcome to the Be a Brilliant Human podcast with me, Joel Young. If you're looking to improve your life, to heal, to grow, and mature as an individual, but maybe you found that some of the personal development and consciousness stuff has given you the impression that you need to be super serious and vigilant to get anywhere meaningful, or feeling like maybe you're just not up to snuff. Well, this show is here to remind you of your humanity, and in fact that's where your true joy and brilliance lies. With over 25 years of experience in the transformation biz and having developed NPA, one of the world's simplest, pressure-free approaches to growth and well-being, if I do say so myself, I'll be sharing tips, steps, and insights that'll help you navigate all the aspects of life as a growth-seeking being. On this show, it comes to you with a good dose of humour, maybe a smattering of colourful language, a reminder not to take things so personally, and most importantly, to be kind to yourself along the way. Make sure you hit that follow button, and let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the Be a Brilliant Human podcast with me, Joel Young. I am delighted that you're here. We are at episode number 137, which means you can find the show notes if you go to www.beabrillianthuman.com/137. And yes, we're in one heck of a heat wave with record temperatures throughout the country here in the UK. And when this country goes anywhere outside of tepid, everything shuts down. Oh my God, there's 0.5 millimeter of snow, everything stops. Oh my God, it's slightly warm, everything stops. Seriously though, it's hot. It's a concern. Anyway, where was I? Yes, so we're going to do this in two sections, and basically the two parts of this conversation. It's part of one conversation, there's two. I'll do a bit of an intro to each one to give you a bit of context for it. And also there's a sponsorship today, the Harmony Equation. I'm running it again. If you're listening to this live at the time it comes out, it'll be coming up pretty soon. If you're listening to it in the future, I may well be running it again, so make sure you still use those links because it'll take you to a page where it'll tell you when the next one is. Fantastic. Isn't modern technology amazing? All right, well, let's get into the first clip. So in this first section, we're talking with Chris. And Chris, who identifies as a number 5 on the Enneagram, if you know the Enneagram, to give you a bit of context for that, one of the things about 5s are all mind types, and if you want the numbers, then the 5, 6, and 7 are all considered to be mind types. Fear is kind of one of their core issues, and this conversation is where Chris is being told that fear is never going to go away, and that's tapped into his own fear. He's like, oh, really? You'll hear him. And I offer a perspective that I think helps him to come to terms with that, because I do agree to a degree. You will have heard me talk about this. on the podcast at some point if you've listened to any that many of my episodes, that, you know, often there are things that we just can't get rid of, and we'll be talking more about that in this podcast today. So I wanted to share this, and also then after we have that conversation, this is where, you know, Chris basically says he likes what he sees in me, and we do that NPA demo which I talked about in the intro. So just join us in this easy conversation. A couple of mates having a chat and doing some NPA and talking about how, you know, fear being around all the time, there's a way to look at it that will really give you the blues, and there's a way to look at that can actually be pretty cool.
How am I? Kill blimey. 191 million tomorrow would help.
Yeah.
And the Euro million. Lottery, that would help. No, Joel, I'm too busy, too knackered, too going blind in front of the computer, so just lie down and stare at the ceiling. Yeah. You just have to put up with that shit, don't you? You don't go, you don't have to be happy as a pig in shit.
No one told me that.
Hey?
No one ever told me that.
Oh, right.
I didn't realise you had to put up with the shit. I'm playing with you here, Chris, but
no, I get it, because I spoke to someone a few weeks ago, and he was the same, you know. I started off, he says, "Cool, you're not down on yourself." And no, you're not. You know, I spoke to him, had a one-on-one with him, and yeah, you're right. It's just, I suppose, if people in authority don't speak good about things, not me in particular, it's like, oh fuck. Basically, I was talking to a person who had a 5 fixation, not me, saying fear's always going to be here. It's like, fucking hell. Joanne. Fucking hell. Fucking, you know. It's depressing enough as it is, right? Knowing that the wolf, whether you feed him or not, is going to be here.
With the fear always there thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit like I say similar about the ego. You can't get rid of the ego.
I know, cheers, pal. Just pile it on. But yeah, you're right.
You know.
Well, go on.
But the thing I'd say about that is it's about shifting your relationship to it.
Yeah.
You know, because fear of fear, that's just like double trouble, isn't it, really? But if you go, I'll tell you what's coming to mind. Have you seen that film A Beautiful Mind?
I have.
Yeah.
That's a really good metaphor for this whole situation, where he takes his hallucinations seriously, believes in them, engages them, and that causes him a lot of grief.
Yeah.
In the film, though, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, they don't go away, but he shifts his relationship to it. He learns that, they're going to try, in my down times, they're going to try and engage me again. If I engage with them, that's going to be really crap for me. So they sort of hang around, but they're inconsequential. So if you take on the idea that fear is not going to go away, but you go, well, but it can become inconsequential.
Yeah.
Then that offsets that kind of idea that fear being around means that really bad engaged with fear. That doesn't have to hang around all the time. That's talking about the relationship to the fear.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I said your shitty relationship with fear that causes you a lot of stress is going to be around forever, then sure, that'd be fair enough to be bummed out. If I said, well, fear's going to be around, a bit like an ex, maybe. You know, so, but your relationship to it can change, transform completely, you know. I used to be in love. I thought I was in love with fear, but it was such a toxic relationship. Then I met joy. Oh, once in a while I think about fear, and then I realise, that was bad. I spend my life with joy. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's like the ocean.
I'm thinking I'm going back to the ocean. I know what you say. Okay, yeah. Because we seem to be in that time where we can walk away nowadays. We don't have to destroy to create.
No.
We can just turn the other cheek, as Jesus said in the Bible, and walk away.
Or another way to say that is going back to, you don't have to destroy to create. That's nice. I like that, because that's quite a strong dogma. I'd say you could just realize that whatever creation you want is already there.
I'll have to write that one down. What creation you want is already there. I'll nick that one.
Stick on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Hashtag bumper sticker.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. What you want to create is already there.
Yeah. Basic quantum physics.
Yeah.
Classic non-personal. Everything exists everywhere, consistently.
Smug.
Smug much. Hashtag smug much. I love that about me.
Yeah. Oh, Joel, well done, man. You do. Hey, you're about the only geezer I know that it's like, oh, I could have a bit of what he's got. There's a few other people I like and I get on with, you know, but they've got stuff and it's like, fucking hell. Wish I had what they had. And it's like, you got some, I can have some of what you got. So maybe I can have some of what they got.
What have I got that you would like?
Perspective.
Repeat after me. This perspective.
God. This perspective.
This energy of perspective.
This energy of perspective.
This pure energy of perspective.
This pure energy of perspective.
Is not personal.
It's not personal.
This pure energy of perspective.
This pure energy of perspective.
Is not personal.
It's not personal.
This pure energy of perspective.
This pure energy of perspective.
Is not personal.
It's not personal.
And I am willing to experience it.
And I am willing to experience it. Oh. Bloody hell, I don't feel wilted anymore. So I put that into the positive. I feel watered. Oh, the sun's shining on me and I'm not wilting. Nice. Wow. Well,
welcome to my world.
Yeah. Aye. We can all have a bit of what Joel has. The sun's. Wow. There's another one to debunk. The sun beating down. That's nice. Nice. The sun is. I don't know.
That.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's one of my favorite NPA in quotes tricks, I suppose. It's a non-personal truth. Whatever you see out there you think you haven't got, you personalize it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, you can include yourself in the vibration of it by realizing it's not personal to them.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to experience it. There you go.
This lifestyle.
It's a kind of magic, as Queen said.
It is.
Fantastic. So in this second clip, we move on to Maggie, who literally says, I'm surprised this issue has come up. Now, to give you some context, this conversation is taking place where several people have got together. They've done some NPA practice together, and they're coming back and they're reporting on what's happened during the session. That's where we pick up the conversation. As this conversation is part of the same conversation I was having with Chris that you've just heard, we referenced that, and also you'll hear, along with Maggie, some shares from Joanna, who was partnering her in that process swap, as we would call it. And also Maggie mentions that she identifies as a 5 and I out myself as identified as a 9. So again, I do talk about the maps. We're referencing the Enneagram map, but as I say in this clip, it doesn't matter what the map is. It's just a good device to help get more self-awareness around it. So let's dive in. This is where I go into my full-on rant box, and I hope that these perspectives really allow you to relax in the face of this situation. But before we dive into that clip, let's have a quick word from our sponsor, which today is, as ever, myself. I've got the harmony equation coming up soon, and so here's all about the harmony equation. If you've got any kind of conflict going on, for example, conflict around having stuff come up again, maybe, get yourself along to the harmony equation. And especially if you're any kind of change worker, facilitating one-to-one, the harmony equation, which is at the core of the integration frame, one of our sort of primary NPA frames, which I'm teaching you, is such a powerful tool to have in your belt if you're facilitating other people. So take it away, sponsorship. This episode is sponsored by the Harmony Equation, our live online workshop where you get to discover the world's simplest tool for resolving conflict and help your clients find harmony. Now, if you've got clients that seem stuck, blocked, and unable to move past certain issues, then chances are they have unresolved conflict and the approaches you've been using so far haven't hit the spot. Well, you're going to love this event, and you and your clients will love the truly unique, powerful, and effortless way you can guide them to the resolutions they need once you have this tool in your hands. In fact, the work you'll learn at the event is so magical, I use it with nearly every client. As Ronnie, a previous attendee, says, you've created something very special and made it a simple and effective tool to cut out the complexities we add to our lives. The work you're doing really resonated with me and the work I'm now doing with my clients. So if you're a healer, a therapist, a coach, or do any kind of change work with clients, then this is an incredible tool to add to your skill set. So head over to www.thenpaacademy.com/harmony and grab your spot today. That's thenpaacademy.com/harmony to get all the details and join the Harmony Equation today.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate. I tried to get her to work on herself, and she kept saying, "No, you." It worked on the energy first, and then I just saw that my battery was pretty much drained. But that led to the root chakra, but also, the safety and security and worrying about everything. Then Joanna, you can add later after what I say. I ended up not trusting in the divine and feeling unsupported, but then it led to people do things for me and I feel I have to repay them, which Joanna was saying, well, why do you have to repay them?
Nice.
And I understand that intellectually, but on some level, I guess I feel it's really coming down to worth, which I thought I dealt with, but like self-worth, like, why would anybody just want to do something for me without being repaid? Right. And so anyway, there's some kind of heavy issues today. I don't know what I'm going to do with them because it's not like it's new to me, but it's surprising, I guess, that it's still there.
Okay. You're going to get me on my rant box again. Firstly, fantastic work. Excellent question there, Joanna. The rant box is the still there piece, because we talked about this earlier. Stuff doesn't go away. So I'm sure I've told you this before, but it's one of my go-to top 10 hits of my analogies. So I think of it like, okay, let's start with what you've just said. I'm surprised it's still there. That's the thing that I hear people who do a lot of stuff in this world a lot. What's sponsoring that idea is the idea that you can get rid of stuff. Some issues are come and go, done their job. Some issues are kind of baked into our personality, make us who we are, make us the shape of us, and we condemn them and try to get rid of them. but they're flavors in the palette. It's like you take a picture and you say, well, the black's wrong, but you take it out and it's not the same picture and not better for it either. So then what happens is you do work on it and get back to shifting your relationship to it. You mature your relationship to it. But when you come to your edge, the shape of you is going to show up. So the analogy I love is like when you look at the rings of a tree, you get the dark bits and you get the light bits. The light bits are summer. That's when it's expanding. The dark bits are winter, when it contracts, slows down. And the rings make a shape. And as the shape gets larger, pretty much they stay the same shape. So as we go through our life in this particular human life with a particular shape of our personality, we can become more expansive. But at some point in that growth, in our summer, we go, oh, everything's great. It's fantastic. It's summertime. Leaves on branches, flowers. Whoa, all the birds come in, nesting in me. It's fucking great. Then the winter comes, it slows down. You start to meet the edge. It's like, ooh, coming to the edge now. And that's when it gets a bit more dense and that shape of you gets more apparent. Now that translates to a human life. It's like when the shit hits the fan, when something challenges you, generally what's going to show up is this stuff. So it's probably going to turn up as in that case, self-worth issues. So you don't get rid of it. You just go, aha, I'm at my edge. Exciting. And you know what? I've been here many, many times. It's that self-worth thing. I know what to do with that. And then you stop judging it and acting like you should have got rid of it by now after paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and doing thousands and thousands of seminars and therapy. And you go, aha, welcome to my edge. So the Enneagram is a good map for that. You know, it was a 9. My edge is going to be basically some form of withdrawal. So procrastination's a good one. Aha, I'm hitting some unknown. I'm a bit scared. That's how I deal with that shit. Because I know that, I go, rather than going, oh no, I need another 1,000 processes and I didn't do it right last time. I need to get to the real core issue of what's going on. I go, aha, that means I'm at a growth point. You know, I've got an edge to go through. But you know what? I know the basic mechanisms of this model. I know much better how to navigate that compared to how I used to. Switching metaphors for a moment, it's like a video game is a good example of this. You know, you're on level 1. It's all quite challenging. You fight the monster, and then you up level. And then you basically get the same monster with more gizmos, but you've got more gizmos to deal with it. And so it goes on. And the more you do it, the more you learn where the monster's going to do this, when it's going to do that. After you've played the game for a long time, you sort of know, I kind of get the basics of how this game works and how the monsters are going to be. And there's always going to be different nuances and different things that make it interesting, because let's face it, if you played a video game and you stayed on level 1 for 35 years, So that's my rant for today.
Well, you know, I haven't looked at the Enneagram in a long time, but I'm a 5, so I don't know withdrawal is definitely one of the, or pushing people. I think I said to Joanna, sometimes I'll push people away too, because, I'm not worthy. So, it's just too much work or effort to try and, deal with this relationship or whatever.
The Enneagram's one model. It doesn't matter what the model is. It's like just getting to know yourself and know thyself. The reason I go into that rant really is because when I hear someone say something to the effect of, got rid of that by now, it's like, let's be kinder about it. Let's look at the real, what's really going on. Dispense with the dogmatic ideas that you can get rid of anything. back to what Chris said, but it's like some things fall away in a, you know, like a cold. It comes, it goes, you know, and some things are more part of the makeup of who you are. That doesn't, just as I said to Chris at the beginning, doesn't mean you have to be that consequence to it. You become the master of it. You go, you know, that's my bitch. Here's my bitch, Chris. That's where you go with it, right? You know, low self-worth. That's my bitch. It's here to tell me. It's here to tell me it's time to go through that door and grow again.
It's interesting because, well, in human design, you know, there's this course I took, and self-worth is one of them. And the implication is if you can't heal that, you can't move forward.
Yeah.
Whereas you're saying that, well, it's just something you may deal with your whole life, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I'm saying you move forward. I mean, with growth, you know, as you grow, someone who's never done any personal development will grow throughout their life. Maybe not as much or in the same way as someone who chooses to look at themselves. But growing is what we do, like a tree. And the mechanisms are the same. You're going to hit themes, and if you're mindful of it, if the gift of self-growth from this perspective is you just become more a master of navigating that territory. So it becomes much more of a early warning system. That stuff's coming up. Not only do I know what it's telling me, I know what to do now. I know the best way to respond to it, so I can navigate it quicker and not get tied up in it, lost in it. And judgment of that process is a potentially a big inhibitor of, or just slow down. You know, anything that does that will just slow you down, get you tied in the weeds. So yeah.
Well, it all came from low energy. So this is interesting. Go ahead, Joanna.
Well, I was just going to say that what I was saying to Maggie is exactly what I need to learn.
Yeah.
I have to accept help. And it's easier from some people than it is from others. And it's really made me see that people want to be able to give, and to give something in return takes away their gift.
Yeah. I love that perspective. That's one I learned quite a long time ago, that receiving is a gift. It's the gift of allowing someone to give. And to reject it is really quite a slap in the face. So it's lean into that, Joanna. All right.
And me too, because I realize I've slapped people in the face too.
Yeah.
Forever. It's interesting that some of those memories come up too, and I feel bad about it.
Yeah. Well, again, it's don't beat yourself up about it. That's part of your tree shape.
Yeah.
It's like you just go, oh, I've got this in. It goes from I slap people in the face when they offer something, and that's just how it is, and they deserved it, to I slapped someone in the face. I don't know why I did that, but it doesn't feel nice. To I slapped someone in the face. Oh, I think that's my stuff coming up. To I've got the urge to slap someone in the face. That tells me I could figure out a different way. To I get the slightest hint of that, and I'm already on it. It's still there in all those scenarios, but a very different experience of it and use of it. So that's the second bumper sticker of the day is make it your bitch. It's a horrible word to say, but I don't know why it's here. It's funny. Yeah. And with that said, on that fine note, I shall bid you fond farewell and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this show, I'd love you to do me a solid and tell someone about it. They can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms. Plus, if you visit the website www.babrillianthuman.com, you can share the show notes to social media and make my day. Also, make sure you hit that follow button, and if you haven't yet downloaded the NPA Process sheet, head on over to joelyoungmpa.com and get your free copy today. Big love, and see you next time.